We've all been there, right? That dull throb, that sharp splitting pain, that feeling that just makes you want to lie down in a dark, quiet room. Headaches are, well, a totally normal part of being human. But what if a headache wasn't just a headache? What if it was a warning sign for something far more serious? How would you even know? Okay, let's put that to the test. Here's our mystery. Imagine a patient comes in with a headache, and these 4 findings. You've got nausea, an unsteady walk, pressure behind the eyes, and slightly high blood pressure. 3 of these are common side effects, but 1 is a massive red flag pointing to a life-threatening emergency. Stick with me, and you'll know exactly which one it is, and more importantly, why. So to figure out what's dangerous, we first have to understand what's, well, not dangerous. Let's start by rounding up the usual suspects, the common, everyday headaches that most of us get. And here's the good news right off the bat. The vast majority of headaches are what doctors call benign. Now, that doesn't mean they don't hurt. They can be awful. It just means they aren't a symptom of some deeper, scary problem lurking underneath. So let's look at our first clue, nausea and vomiting. If you've ever had a really bad migraine, you know this feeling. The pain is just so overwhelming that your body's natural response is to feel sick. The nausea isn't a separate problem. It's a direct result of the intense pain. It's a symptom of the headache. And you know, the exact same logic applies to that retroorbital pressure. That feeling of pressure building up right behind your eyes, that's a classic textbook sign of a sinus headache. Again, it's not some mysterious signal. It's just a direct physical result of your sinuses being inflamed. It's a clue that points right back to a very common and benign type of headache. All right, so we've kind of crossed 2 things off our list. Nausea and eye pressure are typically just effects of the headache itself. But what about that blood pressure reading? That seems a little more serious, right? Let's follow that clue. So let's look at the number 150/82. Now, that's definitely elevated. And we know that hypertension can cause headaches, so you might be thinking, aha, that's it. That's got to be the one. But is it really the critical danger sign we're hunting for? Well, not so fast. It turns out for high blood pressure to be the actual cause of a severe headache, that top number, the systolic pressure, usually has to be way higher. We're talking up in the 180 to 200 range. Our patient's number just isn't in that critical danger zone. So then, why is the blood pressure high at all? The answer is fascinating. It's the body's own alarm system. Think about it. Intense pain is a huge stressor. And what does your body do when it's stressed? It kicks into fight or flight mode. This floods your system with adrenaline and causes a temporary spike in blood pressure. So here's the key. The pain is causing the high BP, not the other way around. Okay, let's recap. We've looked at 3 of our 4 clues. Nausea, eye pressure, and even that elevated blood pressure, they all seem to be effects, not causes. That leaves only one possibility left on the table. It's time to reveal the most serious sign. So after ruling everything else out, what are we left with? Which one of these is not just a reaction to pain, but a direct signal from the brain that something is going terribly wrong? It's this one. An unsteady gait, trouble walking, staggering. This is our answer. And this slide explains exactly why it's so critical. Unlike all the other symptoms, an unsteady gait isn't caused by the feeling of pain. It's a direct neurological sign. It tells you that something, and it could be a tumor, an abscess, or even a deadly aneurysm, is physically pushing on the parts of the brain that control your balance and coordination. I mean, you can't get much clearer than this. This quote from the source material really hits it home. An unsteady gait is not a common thing to see with a regular headache. That's precisely why, if you see it, you have to immediately suspect a serious underlying problem. This is the one sign that separates a really bad day from a true medical emergency. So, let's tie this all together. After digging through all the evidence, what is the single most important lesson here? What's the core takeaway? It really all boils down to this simple but vital distinction. On one side, you have your pain-related symptoms, things like nausea, eye pressure, and even that temporary BP spike. They're all secondary effects caused by the headache. But on the other side, you have your brain-related signs, like an unsteady gait. That is direct physical evidence that the brain itself is in distress. It is a primary danger signal.
And understanding that one difference can literally be life-saving. It's the difference between needing to treat the pain and needing to treat a neurological crisis. So what's the one sign you'll never look at the same way again? Now you know.